Our AskReddit story time. People who knew someone who died in a freak accident, what happened? Story 1. A cousin of mine was electrocuted by a Dr. Pepper machine. His 2 children received $60,000 that their mom lost on bingo. Commenter. This is the saddest, most American sentence I've ever heard. Story 2. My insurance guy was pulling a limb out of a large tree with a chain and a rope. He was behind the pickup, his wife was driving the truck. Rope snapped from the strain and chain snapped back and hit him in the head, killing him instantly. He was in his 50s. Nice guy, too. Ironic thing is this is exactly the sort of scenario he would describe as to why you need life insurance. Commenter. That's called snapback. It's no joke. When I was in the Navy, they make you watch training videos of footage of snapback happening on those big mooring lines, and big ropes will fucking move at the speed of bullets and literally explode your ass into mist. I was trapped on a small raft that went adrift in a storm during military exercises with the Merchant Marines. We went adrift because one of our lines fell off as the storm increased in intensity, and the other wet line was getting more and more taut as the waves got bigger in the storm. The raft was about 20 feet by 20 feet, which means there's not really anywhere to run if that line snaps. Because the line doesn't snap back in a straight line, it flaps back and forth if you watch it in slow motion, covering a large area as it flies past you. We decided it was safe to throw off the last mooring line and just float adrift and hope they found us in the morning, then risk keeping the line on and get hit with a snapback situation. They found us easy peasy the next morning, but it was a cold, wet night on rough seas, on a small LCAC raft. Taut ropes terrify me. I won't even trust them to tow a vehicle. Story 3. When my mom was in her early 20s, my uncle, and grandmother were walking into a McDonald's. One of the patio table umbrellas caught wind and flew directly into her head from 40 feet away. Luckily, it was the broad side of the pole. Brain damage and a settlement from the company. Now she blames that umbrella for memory issues or other problems. Commenter. Fair, I'm sure brain damage from the umbrella problem did cause memory issues. What a horrible, random accident. Story 4. I knew this kid in HS who always ran from class to class pulling his roller backpack behind him. So it's no surprise when he visited the Grand Canyon with family that he wanted to run down a slope. Well, he got going too fast and couldn't stop himself. His entire family watched him run off the side of the Grand Canyon. OOF. Edit, now that I think about it, some of the people I went to high school with were wild. There was a serial killer who began stabbing homeless people in order to scare his dad into coming home, and also a teacher who scissored another girl during lunchtime. Edit, the sex kind of scissoring. Story 5. Someone I went to school with was killed when someone went over a bridge over the highway onto the car she was in. She was killed, it seems, on impact. As far as I'm aware, the person who jumped survived. I'm gonna add an edit here to say it was my understanding that the boy jumped. Initial reports said it was a suicide attempt, but that isn't really able to be confirmed, as the person in question is still a minor. So I'm gonna change the wording. I didn't really anticipate this would get a lot of attention. I can't comment on his intentions. Also, the other person in the car did survive. The girl I went to school with was the only casualty in the incident. No charges or lawsuits happened after the fact. Just one of those things. Story 6. My uncle was mowing grass on an embankment next to a small body of water. The mower unexpectedly slipped down the embankment and overturned on top of him, pinning him under the water. He drowned in a few feet of water that he otherwise could have stood up in. Edit. Lots of folks asking where or when. Not recent. About 13 years ago in the American Southeast. Based on responses, though, maybe not as much of a freak accident as I thought. Seems to happen a lot. Story 7. Swimming and one of my buddies was screwing with the great thing over a drain at the bottom. Got his foot stuck and couldn't extricate himself. His brother, cousin, and I nearly drowned trying to free him, so we got to watch him die. Haven't thought about this one in a bit. Story 8. A guy I went to high school with was helping his family do some repairs to a silo on their family farm. A section of the silo's roofing gave way and in he went, suffocated under thousands of pounds of grain. Commenter 1. I have a deep fear of this. Not that I think I would ever find myself in that situation, but that seems like an awful way to die. Commenter 2. I can't imagine. I also can't imagine being the person that sees it happen and knowing there is literally nothing you can do in time to save them. Story 9. A guy I went to HS with got hit by a train. It wasn't suicide. It was before Uber and he had been at a party drinking. He did the responsible thing by taking the subway. When he heard the train coming, he stood up to take a step forward, like everyone does, but was so drunk that he stumbled over his own feet and fell onto the track. My college roommate almost died his first week in NYC because he was drunk, didn't fully understand the subways, let alone what direction he was facing in them, from the Midwest. I'm not even sure he'd been on a train before moving, and went to look out to see if the train was coming, while wearing big noise-cancelling headphones. He was looking the wrong way. The incoming train came in behind him and he never heard it. Train bonked him pretty good, but luckily sent him down onto the platform and not into the tracks. Give him shit for it this day, 15 years later. Story 10. Teacher in my school lost all 3 kids in a freak traffic accident on the highway. Their car lost a tire, which caused them to swerve into the gas tank of a semi-truck, which exploded, killing 2 of them instantly. The 3rd kid managed to crawl out of the car while he was on fire, and died later in the hospital. The saddest part is that they were all on their way to visit their father in the hospital after his back surgery. Story 11. Guy I knew was driving a tractor-trailer with a stack of pipe on the back. He swerved to avoid an accident after a car cut him off, went into the ditch, and was cut in half when the load was propelled forward by the inertia from the sudden stop. Commenter. Next time just hit the asshole, is the lesson here. Story 12. Lovely girl I went to HS with got a scholarship to a prestigious university, being one of the very few students from my shitty school to make it to college or uni. 2 weeks into term her roommate found her laying in her bed dead. The heating boiler was faulty and she died of carbon monoxide poisoning in her sleep. We'd even thrown a party for her to celebrate her achievement. This was in 1996 and I'm tearing up a bit thinking about this. R.I.P. Sonia. Commenter. My aunt died like this. She and 4 other people, and a dog, died due to a faulty chimney event from a boiler flooding several apartments with CO. She was a gold medal Special Olympian. She loved the Wizard of Ounce. She was very kind to me. I miss her every day. The loophole law that allowed her apartment building to not have CO detectors has since been fixed. Now my family buys them for people in need so that this doesn't happen to anyone else. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.